Just very excited to be playing here on Thanksgiving week to week, and that means you're getting a little deeper in the playoffs. Even though we had a bye, we didn't absolutely win to get another week, but I guess we won a lot of games to get the number one bye and or number one seed. And real proud of this football team for what they've accomplished all year long. They've been very consistent. Probably the biggest difference in this team in the last 3 years. They accomplished winning the fourth straight conference championship, which never been done before, and really did it in a big way. So really good year. Now it's time to start our playoffs. Of course, they started last week. UNC Pembroke, who we played the last 3 years, won their game and will advance to come play us. A very good football team that reminds me, when I look at film, a lot of ourselves. Really athletic on the defensive front. Valdosta's quarterback never could set his feet Saturday. Ended up throwing 4 interceptions. They were 21 of 55 in completions because he was so erratic because of the pressure. And that kind of reminds us of our athletic defensive front. Their quarterback's an outstanding player, even though he has turned it over a little bit more. But yet at the same time, he's made some great throws. A big guy. Their running back, we've seen him, we know him. We've been playing him since he was, I think, a freshman. The one thing about them is they've got 22 seniors and juniors starting, and 14 of those 22 have been redshirted. So when we played them 3 years ago, we noticed who were all these guys on the sideline in just jerseys. And their coach at the time was the coach at West Florida, told me that those were all guys that were redshirted. You could see they were building for this particular year, and it's worked. They've had a great season, 10-1. Anytime you play a 10-1 team, you know you're getting a team that's very competitive and an outstanding football team. Their kicker reminds me of our kicker. He is phenomenal. He's I think this figure's 8 for 8 from over 50 yards, 158-yarder. He's 27 of 32 in field goals. He's a Harlan Hill Trophy a finalist as a kicker. Very unusual, and he's a force that we have to think about on defense and offense. As far as things about letting, especially at the end of halves and end of games, but even any kind of field position. So it'll be a very important field position game because our kickers had a great year also, and capable of making 50-yard field goals too. So that kind of brings a new competitiveness into the game, which we really hadn't faced this year. So that's why they remind me of us. Good on defense, good on offense. They have a receiver that reminds me of Dre. I mean, that's hard to say, but he breaks tackles. He's big. He weighs 210 pounds. He's been there ever since we've been playing on B.J. Bunn. He's also a great kick returner. And then they have a kick returner that's returned 2 kickoffs for a touchdown that reminds you of Jalen Jackson. And it's just a mirror. It looks like 2 teams mirrored. And when that happens, it's going to be the team that makes the fewest mistakes, fewest turnovers, and then makes the plays when we have the opportunity. So great challenge, and it'll be exciting to be playing. And of course, early kickoff. But we had that before, so I don't think that'll affect us.
You kind of touched on the bye week, something you guys haven't had the past few years in the playoffs. How crucial was it to get that extra week of practice, Coach, to kind of get ready and just prepare yourself a little more for the second round matchup?
This time of the year, the main thing we try to do is just maintain what we built all year long. We're not trying to do a whole lot as far as contact, or just trying to stay in shape, maintain our momentum, go out and throw and catch a little bit during the bye week. We don't want to get away from football too long, even though I gave them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off last weekend. But we had one of the best practices we had all year long last night. So that tells me that the team is focused and ready to play, and that's the main thing you worry about. The good thing of the bye is anytime you play a game, you can lose somebody. Injuries are part of football. And so we didn't have to play that game last Saturday, where we lost a few players in the Mississippi College game, the last game of the year. That's going to affect us a little bit, affect the way we play defense, affect the way we can do things. So there's the advantage in having the bye. Plus, players are rested, and hopefully that'll help them Saturday.
Coach, you mentioned injuries. What is the status of Levi Bell?
He's still talking. Going to have to see the doctor. He'll be out this week. More than likely, he's going to have a major surgery, and I think that's a very hard blow for a guy who started ever since he was a freshman, and has meant so much to this program. The combination of him and Philbert Marshall have been a luxury that we have had. We're very fortunate. We recruited Maurice Carnell last year. That Jamal Jackson has come along this year as a defensive back in a corner, and Jalen Jackson's playing both ways right now. We're going to utilize him in some situations for their speed. But losing Levi it'll be funny to be out there without number 2 on the field for this football team.
Pembroke team, you mentioned that you don't play in the regular season the past few years. How much does that help being a little familiar with them? And you touched on that a little bit as well. But how much hangover and how much is left over from the same team that y'all handled?
A lot. Well, they have improved because of their age and they're more mature. They've added a few pieces. The quarterback we have not played. But we played them the last 3, even going back 3 years ago in the playoff at their place, and we've had good games against them. But they were young at that time, and then one year we played them with Jacob Thomas, not Tucker, but Thomas as the starting quarterback after Luke and Jacob got hurt. So it's been an event when we played them, but they're a really good program, and they've done a great job. What their program has done, and I believe he's a defense coordinator, has maintained. The best example of the respect for what he did was that when West Florida started a program, they hired him because of what he did at Pembroke, starting a program there. And so they've got a solid program, a lot of redshirt older players, just like these 2 guys. They've been here 5 years. It's a luxury. They know us inside and out. They trust us. We trust them. There's a lot of things, experiences that we've been through together, and our team's a lot the same way. And so but they have that same thing also. We've kind of had that advantage over a lot of other people we played, but we won't have that advantage over Pembroke.
I'll go back to the bye week. You've had 3 bye weeks in the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, one, even though it was a bye week and we didn't have to play that weekend, but we prepared for Florida Tech. We didn't know until Wednesday, I believe it was, that we weren't playing the game. So that one's a little different because your work day is on Tuesday anyway, your main work day. So, I can't really call that a complete bye week, but we haven't played 3 Saturdays, which has been unique. I've seen more football this year than I've ever seen, so that's been fun.
Yeah, have you seen a team as rested as you guys probably are, and plus not just the bye weeks, but being able to take the starters out in the 4th quarters in the meantime? Well,
yes, I do. I think, but that goes back to also, the bye weeks have helped that situation, but it was about 5 years ago when I realized. After about the first 2 games, practicing about an hour and a half every day, giving the kids off a lot of rest time during the week, and having them there on Saturday fresh is a whole lot more important than going out there and seeing how good of coaches we can be. And players win football games. So we started that a couple of years ago, after about the first month maybe. In fact, you even know that because you come out there sometimes and you can't find us because we're already gone. But I think that's helped. As long as they're focused and we can get done what we need to get done and get off the field, that's helped us. So I think the combination of both those things have helped this team play consistent and play with a lot of energy every Saturday.
Jacob and Kyle, y'all talked about that, especially you, Jacob. You take so many hits. How nice has it been not to get hit as much the last few weeks? Do you feel, as healthy as you've been all year coming into this game?
Yeah, I do feel incredibly healthy, and the coaches have done a good job all season of making sure that we are well rested and taken care of. The biggest thing, I guess it comes with age and just realizing that you don't have to take those big hits every time you're on the field. Me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been itching, even if I was on the sideline, fourth quarter, whatnot, and we were up, I still wanted to be in the game. But now that I'm older and I realize there's a bigger picture ahead, so being able to take off those fourth quarters, and even games like West Florida, where I already played the entire game, people were asking me like, well, that must have been, you must have been aggravated standing over the sideline the whole game. No, I was completely fine with it, taking a rest and the biggest thing is getting Hawkins some good reps and getting him some experience, because it's going to be a total team effort down the stretch, and if he's experienced and ready to go, then that only makes our team that much stronger. So a lot of good things that came from the rest. Just throughout the couple of weeks of the season we didn't play, and also being able to get some young guys in the game, get them a lot of experience.
What about Kyle? You feel
Yeah,
defense is rested too?
I feel like the defense is rested. We're ready to go. Even though we lost Levi, I feel like everybody knows what we have to do, and that the cornerbacks that are taking the spot are going to step up and play a good role. So I feel like we're ready to go as a defense.
What's it going to be like back here in the secondary without Levi?
I mean, it's going to be different because, I'm used to looking down and seeing Levi down there. So it's going to be different not seeing him. It hurt us as a defense. It hurt me as a player, as a person, to lose Levi because he's a good friend. But I feel like Maurice, the twins, Jalen and Jamal are ready to step in and play that role.
Kyle, Coach already talked about field position a little bit, knowing that their kicker can pretty much make anything on our side of the 50. So is this kind of a new challenge for the defense? Is that something that y'all thought about this week?
Oh yeah, that's a big difference, keeping them with field position. Because sometimes we let somebody get to the 30, but we stop them, and they end up, sometimes teams end up playing. So that's good. That's big on us to keep them behind the 50, really, because I heard he was kicking them from 60 sometimes. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to keep them good ball position or field position.
Does that motivate you guys offensively, Jacob, knowing that they can put up points in that?
Yeah, definitely. That's just a whole different aspect that they bring to the table that a bunch of other teams haven't been able to bring. Offensively, from our standpoint, our defense has done it for us time and time again. It was just put us in good position to score and put points on the board, and so now we got to flip the script and help the defense out and keep them, knowing what a threat that guy is, a kicker, and how well they function on offense with the quarterback and the good receiver. We got to protect our defense by not letting them get in those easy field positions where they're working with a short field, because with a team like this, if you're in the playoffs, you're doing something right, and if you've got the record that they have, they're pretty good. So anything that we can do offensively to keep them pushed back as far as they can, that's what we got to do to help our defense out this week, just like they help us out, week in and week out by giving us good field position. So.
When we talk about the offensive line, it looks like we had to make some adjustments there this week.
Well, Cameron King tore a tricep tendon last week. In a simple drill, we weren't doing much, but probably did too much. In fact, it was a day I even thought about not wearing shoulder pads, but I didn't want to go a week without wearing shoulder pads for one day, and I regret it. But we're going to move Alfonso Hampton over to a guard. He's coming along really good. It's hard, it's a challenge for the offensive coaches, for Coach Harper, Scott, and David Lundberg to get him ready to play. But I think because of his natural talent, size, quickness for an offensive lineman, that he in strength, that he can get away with lesser technique and fundamentals than a lot of people could, because he's so much bigger than everybody he's going to play against. So that's kind of helped us, strengthen us there. But really, when you look out there, I don't know if it's the first day of practice, but we're just about where we were starting the offensive line, maybe the second week of August practice as far as starters. And so, hopefully that they can stay healthy and then hopefully we get Cody Vaughn back next week. And then, Andrew Martin can back up the tackles and, so, we just gotta, stay healthy and play well, but that's mainly the guys that have been playing all year. So hopefully everything works good there.
That helped the bye week, being able to make the adjustments in the secondary and on the offensive line.
Well, it has. I mean, we've worked Kyle a lot at corner too, very versatile athlete, and we got Dorsey and James back there at safety also. All three of them have been playing all year long. They're all great players. That's kind of the case in a lot of our positions on this team. One reason we've been consistent and so good this year is we've had plenty of depth. When I say depth, I'm talking about quality depth. Really, who's the starter? Who's, we don't even know. I mean, and don't care. But the bottom line is that gives us some versatility. So when we do get somebody hurt, we're very fortunate to be able to move people around and have the depth that we do. And I think defensively playing as many people as we have, especially as early as we did, that's helped us with our health. When Bud Coleman went out, Ron Derek Rice played phenomenal. It's great. I mean, like you didn't miss a beat, and now we got them both. And so, when Ron Derek got hurt with his concussion, and Bud was there. I mean, it's just work. Everything's they've worked together, and it's been a great year. Been a lot of fun to coach this football team. Maybe one of my favorites of all time.
Jacob, y'all fans of Pembroke so easy the last few years. I mean, when you hear you're playing Pembroke, you kind of just for a second think, hey, this is going to be another easy game.
Well, and that's the natural instinct, but I feel like we have a very experienced, very mature football team, and that's helped us out in a lot of different areas this season. So this is one big area where and Coach Wallace talking about not having that bad week, staying consistent all season. I think that's a lot of that's due to our maturity. And so having maturity and realizing that, especially this time of year, you can't overlook any opponent. It's really going to benefit us in a big way because we're approaching this week just like we would approach West Georgia, Valdosta, anybody that we play in the conference. That's a top tier team. So having the maturity is going to override any expectations of how the game should turn out, and we're going to take care of business this week in practice and go out and do what we know how to do on Saturday.
Kyle, Pembroke's quarterback threw 5 interceptions, I believe, against Valdosta last week. As a defensive player, is that kind of the challenge of this to get a few turnovers?
I mean, it has us excited, but I mean, we still have to go out and play. I mean, we don't know we know what Valdosta did against them, but we have to come out and play. It's not as our coach has said, it's not a weakness unless you exploit it, but we feel like we can come out and do the same thing, but we just have to come out and play well. But he's still a really great quarterback. With Valdosta maybe just got in his head a little bit, but I mean, he's still a great quarterback. He makes really good throws. So we still have to come out and play and make plays.
What did they do specifically against Valdosta? Like they jumped on them quick. Was anything in particular?
Well, Valdosta, every touchdown was a result of a turnover. Both sides of the ball. Valdosta was fielding a punt early in the game, hit him in the face mask. They recovered and they took it in and scored. There were some interceptions both ways that turned into scores. So it was an interesting game to watch, and but it's kind of hard to say they did a whole lot. It was really kind of a game that I'm sure neither coach was very happy with because of the turnovers. And you can't count on turnovers. You have to try to force them on defense. You protect against them on offense, but they're doing the same thing. And that's. Yeah, and then, when you get in a playoff game like this, you've got to overcome things like that. You've got to overcome an unlucky break, a call you don't agree with, you know, a guy getting banged up. I mean, that's what makes a national championship team, is being able to take the adversity that you faced, that you will face in the playoffs, and overcoming it. You know, we have not finished the job the last 3 years in doing that. And you know, hopefully we can this year. But then, you know, again, this is a different team with a lot more maturity, as Jacob says.
Jacob, I believe they have well over 30 sacks. Is that a concern for you?
It's not really. You know, I've got, you know, faith in my offensive line. You know, obviously, you know, Stephen Evans is you know, candidate for the Gene Upshaw Award. He does a great job all year, and the other guys have come along and meshed very well and protected me extremely well, especially towards the end of the season. And with Terrence Knighton stepping in at guard for Cameron King, you know, he started the first game of the year against Jackson State. You know, he's a good player. We know he can get the job done. So as far as them, you know, having that many sacks, you know, kudos to them for having a good year with the defensive line. But at the end of the day, I believe that my players are better than their players, and that's what you got to go out and think every play. You got to know you're better than the guy across from you, and I feel confident in them, and I also feel confident in my receivers getting open. That's half the battle. You know, sometimes quarterbacks will get sacked, and people immediately want to jump and blame the offensive line. Well, if the receivers don't get open, then you know that's a cause for a lot of sacks. And my receivers have done a great job of getting open this year and making plays when I throw the ball up to them. So, you know, like I said, kudos to them for having a good year on the defensive line, but I feel pretty confident in the offense that we have and the game plan that our offensive coaches put together to keep them out of sync, where they don't, you know, key on pass plays, where they can just pin their earbacks and pass rush hard and keep them guessing and stuff like that. So it is something that you have to pay attention to anytime a number like that jumps out at you. But at the same time, you should do the same thing you've been doing all year, and that's what we've been doing, and we've been doing it very well.
You enjoy scrambling anyway.
I do. I was going to mention that, but I do enjoy scrambling, and you know, our receivers do a great job of once I do scramble, they get open. So I'm not back there running for my life the entire time, you know, because sometimes the defense is just going to bring more guys that we can blitz. You know, or they're going to blitz more guys than we can protect, and sometimes that's going to happen, and you just got to make a play. And we've got guys that know how to make plays, and so. As far as being nervous or worried about that, I'm not at all in the slightest bit, because I know we got guys that are going to do what they can to get the job done. And at the end of the day, that's what you got to hang your hat on.